This last story I want to tell you about on Heroes has to do with my brother Roy Don. My brother Roy Don was the oldest of the children. He was 10 years older than I am. And so in this story, you're going to learn about him when he was married. He married my sister-in-law, Eula Ryan. And in the first part of their marriage, Roy was a farmer. Kind of like my dad, he was a farm laborer. And so he had to go out and he would plow fields and do a little ranching every now and then. And at one point in their marriage, on the early part of their marriage, Roy and Eula lived out or rented this house, and I'll just call the farmer Mr. Smith, out, I think it was kind of north east, no, maybe southeast of Eric. And so it was out there kind of by itself. And Eula didn't like living out there by herself, especially when Roy had to work the long hours in the summer. So she asked me if I would come and stay with them for a little while so she wouldn't be so lonely. And I was glad to do it. I mean, Eula was only a couple of years older than I was, and so it was going to be fun, you know, girls hanging out together. Well, we were there at the house, and she was kind of fixing it up and cleaning and everything. And she said, why don't you just go on outside and look around? Because there were cattle and horses out there. And I said, yes, I'd love to. So here I was. I think I was 12, maybe 13. So I'm out and I'm just looking at these beautiful horses and these beautiful cattle and everything. And I see what I think is a little calf. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get that calf to come to me. So I'm going, come here, come here, come here, trying to get it. And it would run back and forth and kind of run in circles. It was a young calf. And it never would come close to the fence to let me pet it. So you know what I did? I crawled under the fence. Yep, that's what I did. Under the fence I went. And so I'm kind of going up a little closer to this calf going, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on over here. You know, because I'm thinking I've pet cattle before. Cattle are gentle animals. As long as they're not male Brahma bulls. And that's what this was. It was a little bull. And it was sitting there kind of looking at me. And I wasn't that far from the fence, but I was far enough. And I noticed that this little calf, so I thought it was, kind of cocks its head, looks at me, and then this is how you know when you're about to be charged. It lowers its head and it starts just kind of digging at the ground with one of its hooves. Now, I've been around cattle enough. I've watched them do this to each other that I know that this bull is coming at me. So I get real scared and I start kind of backing up because I see that it's getting ready to run towards me. And it's kind of running at an angle and beginning to come at me. And of course, I get ready to turn. And just like in the movies, remember in the old movies, how when a woman starts to run, what's the first thing she does? She trips and she falls. And so I'm screaming at Eula, Eula, help me, help me, you know, and I'm running as fast as I can. And I'm thinking I'm going to just scoot under the fence because I can't climb over the fence. It's got very high barbed wire and so forth. So I'm trying to scoot under the fence. And what happens? I get tangled up in this fence. My clothes get tangled up. And so I am scared to death. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody help me, somebody help me. And I'm just trying to get, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking that the bull has hit me in the butt or something. All of a sudden, this hand reaches down, grabs me with one hand and just throws me over the fence. And I just kind of get thrown on the ground and I'm rolling. Who was it? It was my brother Roy Don. He had climbed up on the fence a little, leaned over, and with one hand picked me up. Now, again, I was about 13 years old, 90 pounds of nothing. But still, my brother Roy Don, who was not very tall, he didn't really take after my dad on height. He was probably 5'7", 5'8", but he was very muscular. He had been in the military and he still had that military build and was very strong. He just picked me up with one hand and just throws me over the fence. And of course, I roll on the dirt a little bit and I'm like, oh, you know, because I can feel that my shirt is torn and I'm, you know, as he threw me on the ground, I'm kind of like, oh, I can't believe he threw me on the ground. And he's like, what what are you doing over in that fence with that bull? And I'm like, I thought it was a calf. And he goes, I don't care if it was a calf. You don't get over in that fence, girl. What's wrong with you? I'm like, oh my, you know. But I just looked up at him, and so he kind of picks me up and brushes me off. And he says, Donna Kay, go get in the house, wash your face. Goodness, girl. And of course, then he takes his hat off, and just like Daddy, he just kind of knocks the dirt off against his pant leg and puts his hat back on. And of course, Eula's like, girl, are you okay? Are you okay? And I said, the bull almost got me. And she goes, yeah, we saw that. But I tell you, I thought, my big brother can't do anything wrong. I mean, he just picked me up with one hand and saved my life. He really did. He saved my life from that bull. And I just remembered I can't tell my mom what I did because she'll say, Donna Kay, don't you know any better? You know, I think I told her like a year later what happened because I was afraid she wouldn't let me go stay with Roy and Eula anymore if she heard that I did something like that. But just, you know, these are the things that remind you that there are heroes in your family. And they do these heroic things and they don't think anything of it because it's just what you do to save family and to help family and all of these sort of things. And I don't think my brother Roy Dunn thought anything of it. He just thought, I got to keep Donna Kay from getting hit in the butt by a bull, you know, so. But it was, you know, I slept much nicer that night, and I learned my lesson about climbing over the fence, getting in there with bulls. I really did. I didn't do that anymore. But these were the 3 stories. The one of my dad pulling Yolanda out of the mud, my mom shooting the skunk, and my brother Roy Dunn saving me from the bull. So I hope you've enjoyed these stories about heroes that live right there